Hi, it's Mike Bayer with Free Speech Media. I am here near Nathan Phillips Square with Tyler. Tyler, go ahead and give us your message. What do you want people to know?
Man, it's going to be different, man, than I'm sure anybody else has come on this camera and told you, Mike. I came down here peacefully with forms, with liability information on them. Information cards that just let you know that there's a little bit of a risk. I know the benefit a lot of people think is we're going to get back to normal. I actually came down here with understanding and compassion and grace to extend to these people because they're not our enemies. And the police were here, they set up a blockade. I mean, they're treating us like we're criminals, so now our emotions are high, tensions are high. And the people that came down here with the right intentions now are made to look like we're all crazies because we're trying to scream over the cops, and the cops are treating us like we're criminals. And it's just deflating sometimes, like I'm trying to promote a culture of free will, and they have free will. I just want to make sure they have the proper amount and sufficient amount of information to make an informed consent. And I feel like if people did actually have all the information, that less people would consent. This coercion, I mean, we have free ice cream. Children are allowed 12 and up to come here without a parent, without a health card. And hey, good job, Johnny, we got an ice cream cone for you. If I pulled up here in a van and I was offering kids candy and said, hey, just come on in, or I had puppies to pet, and hey, you can pet my puppy, just let me stab you with a needle, these police officers, I would hope, arrest me. And throw in a couple low blows while no one's looking either, because that's what that type of person would deserve in my eyes. But yet they're here, and there's multiple ice cream trucks. They got a DJ with music, trying to drown out the parents here that are really just we really just came here to give them information. Peacefully, I don't want to get too close to them either. We know with a little bit of the adverse effects with people that have been exposed to someone who has had this experimental injection. So I was always going to keep my distance and just wanted to be peaceful. And it's frustrating when, they just perpetuate this divide using law enforcement, which costs tax dollars and gets tax-paying citizens that we're not even allowed in there. What happened to freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of expression? I mean, they're really trying to shut anybody down that doesn't believe with this narrative, which is also constantly changing, because before it was slow the curve, right? Flatten the curve. Cases, we needed cases down to reopen. Now we need vaccine counts up to reopen. Right? They keep changing it, keep moving the goalpost more and more and more, and now we're in the year 2 of a 2-week lockdown. And it's crazy. And this here, I mean, the rallies are great. It's great to meet people, and and it gets you all hype and you feel patriotic for 4 hours on a Saturday. But this is where, I feel like this was disappointing, to see that nobody was here. Who do you really care about? Is it just about to get the clout? Are we looking to be the next Instagram sensation? Who's got the most followers? Who's got the best message? There isn't a unified message, and the message has to be love. It has to be grace. It has to be compassion. It has to be known that these people know, we understand. I understand. You just want to get back to normal. You just want to open up. You want to get back to your way the life was. When we didn't, that wasn't a good place to begin with. So this new normal I actually would invite, but it has to be a new normal that is inclusive to everyone. Isn't that what Canada's all about? Is that everybody has the freedom to choose what they believe in, right down to the type of the hockey team that you cheer for, right? If you drink Coke, you drink Pepsi, right? So the divide is just right down to you drive Ford, I drive Dodge. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's not just racism. Now it's this maskism. Now it's all these isms, ists, and obias that are being thrown at people that think differently than what's being told to think. And I didn't come here. I'm not an enemy. These people are not my enemies. They're human beings that I care about. If you have empathy and compassion, then you care as much for them as you would anybody else. If you had God in your life and you obey the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you. And I'm not here, I would not nobody yelling at me about my decisions, but I would hope that someone with love and compassion would come to me and say, hey, did you know? Have you seen this? Have you seen it from this perspective? And then and approach me with compassion and that, I feel comfortable receiving what you have to say, because if we're yelling at them, megaphones, screaming over cops, telling them they're stupid, telling them what they're doing is killing their kids, they feel like they're saving their kids. right? So in order to get the message that no, you're actually bringing more harm than good, it has to be in a way that they're going to receive that. You call someone a baby killer while they're in there killing babies, you know, that you're not going to get through to them that way. So I haven't even really participated in the yelling and the screaming and hollering over here, because as soon as we approached, the cops escorted us off the property, said we were trespassing, and they weren't going to let us hand out the pamphlets or to give any of that information, which is free information. It should be accessible to everyone. And I just feel like these people, even if they don't believe that, you know, the vaccine is good or bad, they're just like, you know what, I'll get it just so that I can do my part to get the vaccine count up now to open. Before we were wearing masks and obeying and staying home and all of this and that, shopping online, not visiting Nan, to do my part to reopen. Well, now that part didn't really help you reopen. Now the part you have to play is get this injection. And so that's all they're doing here now is like, oh, you know what, not a big deal, just give it to me, you know. I just want to be able to watch a game in an arena. I just watched North Carolina have a sold out arena. If all I got to do is get the needle, I want to be like Florida. I want to be like Texas. I want that back. All we got to do is get a needle. And that's they're not doing this for health anymore. This was never about health. They're here to get a needle, they think, because that's going to help the count go up. That's going to allow the Premier Cheesecake to come on TV and say, okay guys, back to normal. And that's just never going to happen, right? They told us we're never going back. This will be the new normal. And there's nothing normal about it. I mean, this is just, it's crazy, you know, it's crazy. So we're here. This is what it is about, man. You got to show up, especially for the kids. And it just goes to show that, you know, what we're up against here, you know. They don't want us, man. They went after our seniors because they don't want us to know our history. And they're going after our kids because they don't want them to have a future. And you know, that'll be the survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive, and those ones will have a choice. You're with us or against us. And if you're with us, we will procreate and create the new world, and everybody else will be, I don't know, something about, I don't know, yellow stars and brown coats. I don't know, something like that. It smells like that in the air down here. But man, it's tough, you know. It's tough. But if I can come here and change one mind, because it's frustrating. And here's the difference between like these freedom fighters and real people that are actually like after, you know, winning your soul for God or like saving a real life, is everybody wants followers. They want everybody to, if they say something and it doesn't get received by everyone, then they're like, you're not my people. But there's a story about it's the starfish parable, or it's a story of an older man who walked the beach every morning, and one morning he could see a lady in the distance, and she was dancing around, and she was all like woo, and she was like bending over and throwing stuff in the lake or the ocean, and as he approached, he seen her like picking up starfish and throwing starfish in. And he said, "Ma'am, what are you doing?" And she said, I'm just throwing the starfish back in, sir. It's, you know, the sun is hot and the tide is high, and if we leave them, they'll die." And he goes, "Well, the beach stretches for miles, and so do the starfish. You'll never save them all." And then she's like, "Save that one." And if I could change somebody's mind, just one out of the thousands that came here today, then I know that that amounts more to our Creator than any of the world's treasures combined. One soul is worth more than anything this world has to offer. I'm not trying to gain followers. I don't want nobody in there to run after and listen to Tyler. If I can just get one man, woman, or child to think critically and say, hey, maybe there's something more to this, then that's what we're here to do. Not to perpetuate this divide of, you know, anti this or pro that. It's, you know, I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice, and I just encourage people and would hope that they would choose life. You know, that's it. And then there's circumstances in where, you know, the pro-choice, risk to benefit. That's what you always, and I'm here to fight for your freedom to choose that and that alone. You know, it's your discernment, how you decide, whatever decision it is, it's up to you to make. Not because I told you, not because the news told you, a police officer. I asked the police, what would you do if my 12-year-old daughter came here and said, look, my parents aren't here, I don't want them to know, but where can I get my vaccine? Are you going to lead that minor in there to go and get their vaccine? Or are you going to like, no, you need to call your parents, you're a minor? Right? They have to get a parental consent to get their ears pierced. They need parental consent to go on a field trip. They need parental consent to get a tattoo up until the age of 16. You can't operate a motorized vehicle. You can't purchase alcohol, cigarettes, or marijuana. You can't give consent to have sexual interactions with anybody else. But you can come down here and make an informed consent on an experimental drug. if that doesn't say something's wrong in the world to anybody that's watching this, I mean, there's nothing else I can say to you except for just call upon the name of the Lord. Because this is far beyond flesh and blood, man to man. This is a spiritual warfare. If that doesn't say there's something wrong, then you've been systematically, successfully dumbed down, and you are a product of the Matrix.
Tyler, I really loved your message about love and compassion. Speak a little bit more about that, because we need to bring these people on our side. Like you said, they're not our enemies. They shouldn't be shouting and yelling at them like that. You're right. We're not going to reach them that way.
No, and I don't think they had the intention of behaving this way coming here. But when you're swarmed by 30 said police officers, there was at least, I did a quick head count, and you're surrounded and swarmed and told to leave, otherwise you're going to be arrested for trespassing. It now causes the emotions to take over, right? These are emotional people. We're emotional beings. We just, I always say it's okay to have emotions, but it's not okay to let those emotions have us. And it's difficult when you put these people in between us and make us feel like, we're the enemy, right? There's something wrong with us. We're criminal-minded or some type of danger to that society. There's like, why are you standing between us? You should be encouraging us. Nobody in here is socially distanced. They're all together. It's just so obvious, what's missing here. And I don't blame them, because those are my brothers and sisters over there. But it's been 15, 16 months, man. And now they're offering free ice cream to kids to take an experimental drug. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was told, don't give in to peer pressure and don't try experimental drugs. So always go to your parents and say, look, somebody told me to try this. And that was just smoking some spliffs or to, maybe pop a pill or maybe eat a little bit of shrooms. Now, kids are taking peyote and fentanyl and crack and heroin and now Xanax. They're taking mad drugs. And they're encouraged that don't tell nobody. You can make your own decisions, child. And we'll give you some free ice cream for it too. Why is it that a baker needs to know all the ingredients in a cupcake, but they don't need to know all the ingredients in a vaccine? That's what I mean. If everybody had the proper and sufficient amount of information to make an informed consent, nobody would consent. I truly believe that no one would consent. If you weigh the risk to benefit, the risk is always going to outweigh the benefit. Even though the benefit they make you believe is back to life, it's never going to happen. It's not going that way. It'll never go that way. This is the new normal. And they just keep dangling a carrot. That's all it is. It's just an incentive to get you to do things that you would not normally do. That's why, fear, pandemics, war, it's all the same. Robert F. Kennedy says it. The governments love pandemics. They love pandemics the same way they love war, right? Because it causes people to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. Right? But they feel that this fear, that's, false evidence appearing real, I'm gonna flip the script, and fear now is to forgive everyone and revive. There's we need to love each other. So yeah, back to that. Love is the answer to everything. Love endures all things. It holds no record of wrong, right? There's no judgment in love. There's no conditions on love. So I'm not going to love you less because of a condition I put on you saying if you get the vax, I can't love you anymore. I'm still going to love you, but for my own personal safety, I just might not be able to stay 6 feet close to you, right? That's where the social distancing is going to have to come into play. Have you been vaccinated? Whoa, And that's, it's a scary place to live in, and it's hard, it's hard, to compose yourself, to remain collected, cool, strategic, but with compassion and grace and love when you're made to feel like you're a domestic terrorist, So it's difficult, but yeah, if we gotta, the only way that you can do that is, to just understand that, you are created, you have a divine creator, give your life to the divine, the creator, Christ, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself, man. If I do to you what I would want you to do to me, and I would never do to you what I would never want you to do to me, then we'll have that world peace, that unity everybody keeps talking about, right? But nobody will do that. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. You break one, you're guilty of all. And we're all sinners in need of a savior, man, and that's where grace comes in. It's not something you can earn, so that you can't boast to say, look what I did in order to earn my pass. You can't earn nothing, because by no works, right? It's grace. We're saved by faith. It's not something that you can earn. It's not anything you deserve. It's just knowing that without God, I'm nothing, right? And Call God love, call whatever you want. That's what God is. God is love. You know, but God has a name, and that's the name of Christ. You know, the power of the name of Jesus has power over every other name. And that's it. That's me, man. I'm here. You know, I'm out. I'm not trying to do anything but just, you know, maybe impress upon one. You know, that's it. You know, if there's one or there's none, I'll be there. I'll show up, because that's what we're called to do. You know, to be fishers of men. You know, and if you fish, you know, what is it they say? You can eat for a day, but if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you know, that's what we're out here doing, man. It's just, you know, teaching people, man. You got to think for yourself. Don't listen to the news. They got all these celebrities, you know, you got the LeBrons, and you got everybody, all the A-listers, you know, rolling the sleeves up. You got The Rock, the most alpha male on earth, just told us all that he's the biggest beta boy on the planet. That he's got no balls, none. He's on the take, sold his soul, and there's no man left in him, you know. And that's why they use him. That's why the first time ever he endorsed a political party. You know, you got to pay attention to it. When the people that are on the news and on the shows and are an influence in your life, your favorite musicians, favorite artists, and they're all promoting the same message, you're gonna tell me everybody in Hollywood's got the same ideas, but everybody out here's got different ideas? You know, why is it that, oh no, the unified message, follow us, right? And anything that's contrary to that is like maimed, blamed, shamed, you know, and put in cages now. You know, they're trying to cage us up. They're trying to take us to jail because we're speaking out against the narrative. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, we gotta get back to, you know, loving each other, man. And it's hard, you know. But love comes without conditions. You know, it's unconditional love is the only true form of love.
Tyler, thank you. Keep fighting for freedom, brother.
Thank you so much.
That's it, man. Hey, I want to touch again on that freedom thing, because I don't know how much of this you edit and you'll cut out, but like freedom means sovereignty, to be sovereign. And as long as you have a handheld device and you have an address and you grocery shop and you have a license and a car and you buy gas and you wear clothes that were, you know, manufactured with, you know, child labor across the world and all of that stuff, you're not fighting for freedom, man. You're just fighting for your rights. You're fighting to be able to still, you know, swipe your thumb and get everything you want and tap a little checkout now or click here, order now, like, comment, share, post. I mean, you're living in a virtual reality, and you know, you're not free at all. Freedom means you're not dependent on any of this. You know, you want to be really free, then you better go live with the Mennonites, you know, and start up the Mennonites 2.0s or the 3.0s. You know, I'm starting to maybe wanting to hang out with them a lot more, because they got to figure it out. You ask them, why hasn't COVID affected your community? Because they don't have none of these devices.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that do are the elders, and they know to use discernment and how much of that they can bring into their life. Because obviously you still want to remain connected, and they still play the system while the system's in play. But soon that system's not going to be in play anymore, and they're going to be set, and they're going to be good to go. So, man, if you know any Mennonites, you best ask them how they do it, and best join the club soon, because when all this goes, you're not going to be fighting for no freedoms, man. You can be running around like a chicken shit trying to find toilet paper.
All right, thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, man.
All right.